I just, are you good with just having a really cool rule breaking connective conversation? Because that's really what I love to do.
Yes, am I allowed to curse? Okay.
Great question. Hi, welcome to the Goodbye Good Girl Next Level Empowerment podcast. Oh, I've just met my new bestie. I want to introduce you to Morgan Hamer. She and I are completely on the same page when it comes to the absolute limitlessness of women and the absolute need to come outside of the usual masculinized patriarchal structures because all those rules only limit us. So I want to read something to you about her because it's so gorgeously written that I can't even. My message, she says, disrupts the outdated belief that women must hustle, perform, or prove their worth to be successful. And I get it, amen. I teach a radically different approach that true abundance and freedom come when we stop chasing and start receiving. Now, Morgan works with, she works ambitious soul led women to do better with their business, better with themselves. She's going to be able to tell you more about this much more cogently than I can. So, why don't you, in your own words, tell us what you are doing that is so badass? Because it is.
Well, I don't even know where to start with that question, but when it comes to my manifesting business, I just empower women with the tools and resources that I've applied in my own life to level up and create a reality that mirrors what my heart wants to experience. And so what does that mean? I have a two-part system. I help women on the mindset stuff first, and then we get into the tangible, like nuts and bolts of how improving their business. But it's really, I think the place where we like struggle the most is with money as women. I mean, we've been told it's not
Oh, yeah.
okay to talk about it, and I mean, we're told that it's not okay to own our success, and all these things, and it's like, no, like, queen, the money is yours if you want it, period. If and the business that you want, that life that you want is yours if you show up for it. But that logical approach to success is not going to get you very far. And then that
Oh,
top down, like, masculine approach to, like, we've got
yeah.
to figure it all out up front and have all this structure and plan, like, that's not how life works. So we need to go ahead and just start to figure out how to co-create it and work on life's terms and collaborate with the universe and do the things that are true to ourselves so that we can have the power and the energy to really show up fully and make that meaning and make that imprint and prove and fulfill our purpose on this time on earth. And it's really a choice, Lori, like, we have to, like, start by deciding, like, enough's enough, and
Yeah.
go all in on our daydream. And that's what I'm here for. I'm your business bestie. I am also Best Life Barbie is my how I identify myself. Like,
What
my
does that mean? What does that mean? What
oh
is a
my
best
gosh.
life Barbie?
It just keeps, like, I claimed this title a couple years ago, and it was just me being silly. Like, I just feel like I'm living my best life. Like, my little childhood daydream of um pink and little cute animals and hanging out with my friends and all this stuff. And yeah, I keep pushing it and pushing it because that's what lights me up. Like, I was a Barbie girl, like I mentioned earlier. Like, I
Yeah.
love glamour and Dolly Parton and all that. And the thing is, I was told my whole life that it's not okay to be that kind of woman. It's not okay to be sexy and successful. It's not okay to have uh fluffy blonde hair and skimpy outfits and lots of sparkles to be taken seriously. And it's like, oh no, that is your truth. That is not mine. And once I started to own that, then I start manifesting more best life Barbie vibes. So let me just elaborate a little bit more on that. So what that
Wow.
means to me is, like, I have I have attracted the most aligned community of women, these ride or die queens that like they call me on my crap and they mirror back to me my values and the things that light me up. So I have these like fellow Barbies in my realm. And then I like right now I'm in the process of selling one of my investment properties to buy a retreat property where I can host my Barbies and decorate it in the Barbie vibe in Charleston, South Carolina area. And it's all just unfolding. There's like a challenge or a curveball, and then a solution comes. And like I'm under contract as of 2 days ago on this dream house that I never thought I'd be able to afford. Like that is best life Barbie vibes. And I get to have my friends here and we get to go on the beach. And like, some days, Lori, I get to just sit and work from the beach. Like that is my
Oh,
best life. And that's what like I claimed. And just a few years ago, like I wouldn't have thought this is possible as I'm like visiting the beach and like walking around hunting for shark's teeth. That's like one thing I enjoy. But while I was doing that, I kept doing the visualizations and trying to tap into like this is the reality that I want and holding that vision like and being very, very dedicated, radically committed to that vision. Like, oh my gosh, I'm looking around and it's like it's about to be my reality. Like, okay, does that paint the picture of best life Barbie vibes?
hell yes. Hell
Okay.
yes. And there's a lot to unpack there for me because I mean, this is fabulous. You're 31 years younger than me.
Okay.
Okay. It, I've been a feminist since I was 16, and I've been fighting against the so-called norms my entire life, trying to find my way out of the shoulds, the social shoulds, the social programming and everything. And you are, very far ahead of me in having actually manifested. So I'm wondering, first of all, two things, and I'll give them to you one at a time again if you need them. But one is, who the hell told you that it wasn't okay to be what the norm usually is? Oh, you've got to be pretty, you've got to be blonde, you've got to be young, you've got to be sexy. Like that's what the culture tells us we're supposed to be. And somebody told you you're not supposed to be that. That's interesting to me. And then, secondly, when did you come to the realization that there had to be another way?
Um, so the first question is really, I think my mom, she's very conservative and
Ah, okay.
not politically, just
But
fashionably
yeah,
and to be honest, like that's probably the result of she was an only child. My grandma is like over the top, very eccentric, like wears like net shirts with brassiers in her 70s. Like I think that that was my mom's like natural response to be a little bit more conservative and buttoned down. Like I understand and I have compassion for her, but yeah, I mean, it was just like she wanted me to wear Banana Republic and J. Crew, and she thought like for like what she wanted for me was just what she didn't have, and she
right,
thought like the path to having what she didn't have, like a rich man to support her. Uh,
right.
um, like, okay, well, here's how you're gonna get this, Morgan. You're gonna dress conservatively and you're gonna get a good, respectable day job and so on and so forth. And it's like, oh my gosh, this is like the absolute opposite of my truth. Like, when I went out on business on my own and started my commercial real estate firm in 2022, it wasn't like, congratulations, Morgan, you are a business owner, you're like leveling up. It was, oh my gosh, you're not going to have benefits. Like, how are you going to afford healthcare and all that stuff? So, I mean, that resistance comes from my mom, but we all have some kind of like narrative that's been put on us that like Lori, you're the first person that's ever said, wait, that isn't like what everyone else is told. Like nobody has ever told me from your perspective, that's what you believe to be true. We're told to be sexy and beautiful to have success. So, I mean, all of our realities, like we're all living in the same planet at the same time, but we have such vastly different experiences. Um,
Well, my where I come from is look at any advertisements, look at any magazines, and and look online. I mean, it's women are sexualized constantly. We're not taken seriously, all of these things. And you can either fight the system around that, or you can find another way. And you found another way. You found the authentic way, Morgan's authentic way.
Yes. And you know, I feel I used to be so frustrated. Like I was just talking to one of my like business besties yesterday about this time that we have like bi-weekly, or I'm sorry, every other week we have an accountability call, and we've been doing this for like 4 years now. And so we've been able to like really grow and evolve together, and I highly recommend finding one business friend that you can do that with. But neither here nor there. The point is, I was telling her yesterday about the time that we had our accountability call, and I was like still in this misaligned life where I'm like trying to like be someone else to fit in. And I was at a real estate conference in Las Vegas, and I was sitting at a water fountain having a nervous breakdown. I'm like, Brittany, like, why am I called to be like a sexy looking woman? And then I'm called to be in real estate. And then I'm called to be this spiritual, like airy fairy person. Like it just doesn't make any sense. And I just feel so lost. And I just can't show up authentically anywhere. And like fast forward to now. And really, it's only been in the last 6 to 12 months that I realized like all three of those different things coming together is what makes me who I am. Like being the badass in commercial real estate, the badass real estate investor, like that isn't separate from being the Barbie girl, the glam gal, or being the spiritual person. Like when I bring all those together, that's my power, and that's going to attract the aligned opportunities, the aligned clients, and it's going to keep me lit up so that I can keep pushing forward when the scary things come up, because I am lit up by my own light. Like it's like feeding me that I give myself permission to show up more authentically in like small ways. Like maybe I'm gonna like declutter because it's not a fit for my vibe. Like that's like a little surface level thing, but like the bigger things are like I'm going to show up as Best Life Barbie on LinkedIn. Like those that's where the polished and professional people hang out. Like let's test the waters on that. And then all of a sudden LinkedIn isn't this like dry, dreary place that I hate to go. You know what I mean? Like I
Yes.
don't know. I something is activated. It's not so much what happened. I know your second question was like what happened to make me decide like enough's enough. It was more
Yeah.
like having that light bulb where, oh,
Uh-huh.
this is my magic. Like my authenticity is my magic. Let's push it. Let's play ball and see where this takes me.
Let's play ball. Yes. Yes. I mean, for me, you break several stereotypes for me, in the women and empowerment and manifestation space, because you are the person who goes, look, I can take some of the stuff that are the cultural okays, like being pretty, being young, like I can use those because they're who I am.
Yes.
Like that's what lights me up. I don't have to shove it away in order, I don't have to follow my mother's rules, right? And yet that brings you to such success. And I mean success in getting to shine, because once you shine, everything else falls into place.
Mhm. I
And
would
so
love.
that's wonderful.
So I know you had mentioned energetics, and that's
Yeah.
your the framework, the lens through which you view the manifesting and whatnot.
Yeah.
I'm curious what you like. How would you interpret what we were just talking about through that lens of energetics? Like, what is your interpretation of what's happening from that perspective?
Gorgeous question. Absolutely love it. And my interpretation is there are no rules except for the ones that are the energy truths of our reality. And that's really going into way into the spiritual, way into physics, way into law of attraction and things like this. And what it means is it doesn't matter who you are. It doesn't matter how you are. If it lights you up, then you are living the life that you were meant to live. And you are living the you're living, like you said, your authenticity, and you're going to get everything that you are not getting in the way of. Meaning, you're
Oh,
not sitting there going, "Oh, I really, really wish I could have a life like Morgan's. I really wish I could buy this." But I guess it's going to take a really, really long time. Any assumption that you're making is not the truth.
so
Any
that's
assumption.
so you're saying that like you basically you create your own reality based on your beliefs. And if you like tap into your energy, your light, then you're going to inherently manifest that back.
Yes, but I'm going to mirror something back that you said in your when you answered the questionnaire for me, which is that oh shoot, I forgot what it was already. It was so brilliant. Hold on, let me see what that was. It was you have a beautiful way of writing, by the way. Um, this it's not having to go through every single belief and like work through it. I mean, that's another part of the shoulds. We've got to question the shoulds because our actual self is clean, clear light.
Hmm.
That's who we are. Now, what the hell does that mean? Like a lot of people would be like, that's nice. What the hell does that mean? And how do I make use of that? But it's nonetheless true. And if you think about it this way, if you know somebody who has a lot of power and a lot of money and doesn't, is a lunatic and doesn't deserve, isn't worthy, they still have it. Why is that? It's because there's no I'm assuming something limiting in the way. It's just, I assume I can have that. And that
Exactly.
energy just informs our reality and it informs our actions. And, you know, when we lean into the light instead of investigating all the shit that makes us feel terrible, then we're on the right road.
I 100% agree. I use slightly different language, but it's all the same thing. And I mean, I have a tattoo on my chest that says child of light. Like that, I got this in my like early 20s and it was an aspiration. And I know like what a beautiful, weird thing to do. Like when I was young and like lost, and now it's like, oh, this totally makes sense. But anyway, in this latest chapter of my life, I really do believe it all comes down to love. Like that all caps, like universal, like unifying, beautiful, sacred love. And that to me, that is what the light is. It's this love energy. And we have these things that tell us we're not worthy of it, or like we have to perform to get it, or whatever stories that we have. And really our job is just to return to that love, that true unconditional love. And part of the work is to start to learn to love the parts of ourselves that we've been taught aren't acceptable, and start to embody that unconditional love for ourselves. And when you start to open that up for yourself to receive love unconditionally from yourself, the world mirrors that back to you, and that's where the real abundance comes through. And it's I know like the money, like people have this like ickiness about money, but if you just reframe it and look at money as energy, and when you are acting in love and co-create, like you're letting them operate in tandem and allowing that money to come to you and through you, allowing that love to come to you and through you, it's all energy. And if your heart is in the right place, if you're aligned to your truth, making more money is only going to amplify that, because money is an amplifier. And to your point about the people who have money that, in quotes, don't deserve it, something that I was taught by one of the OG manifesting queens, Lacey Phillips. She always says
Mm,
that narcissists are the best manifestors. And that's, I
yeah,
mean, there's definitely truth to that. But
yeah.
something that I've learned from being involved in different businesses and surrounded by women in business too is that like if you make money and it's from a place of fear, if you're driven by like a chip on your shoulder or something to prove, or you're stepping on other people and causing harm to get what you want, that money that you you have that you are able to get, like that's going to amplify the fear parts of you. And I've seen on several times now these people who have meteoric rise, and they are able to, be like check that box of $1 million a year like really quickly.
Yeah.
And people will say, oh, they changed once they got money. But no, that's not what happened. That money amplified that stuff that was already in there. And so it's made them more of a monster because it's amplified that fear, those stories, those negative beliefs um, that were already there. So it's just
Right.
always been there. But on the other side, the reframe for us women who think, oh, we can't have money because we have to earn it or whatever, like the reframe is like if you're fulfilling your purpose, if you're acting in love, like, and you allow yourself to receive love and receive money, like that's going to amplify more beautiful things, more aligned things. Like money is not gross. It's not, it's
Yeah.
absolutely 100% an amplifier, and it's important to be able to give it and receive it freely. That's act when you're called to act, and invest when you're called to invest, and give and earn and save and all that stuff. And I think the gateway to being able to do that once again comes into being able to love yourself and accept and receive love unconditionally, at least from like the feminine alternative approach to success, where it's not this like very formulaic, like structured approach. Does that
Oh,
resonate?
oh, oh, very, very, very much. And I do want to bring in something that is dear to my heart around that, which is there's nothing more powerful than the light. And by the light, I mean I have a technique that I call the 1% solution, and I created it unwittingly when I was in my 40th year of clinical depression and I was going down for the third time. And within 10 minutes, I realized I was, for the first time in all of those years, um, elevating how I was feeling. I was impacting how I felt, which if you've ever been in depression, if anybody out there's ever been depressed, that's not what they tell you. They tell you take the drugs, go to the therapy, both of which are great. They'll save your life. I am a big fan. However, there's another step that you can take and you actually can heal. You can actually use your emotional energetics, your cleared mind around all of the mindset shifts that you need to make, and you can actually heal yourself. So that's that's really important. Now, I consider myself a bridge, kind of a person who's a bridge. So I'm really interested in women who they're going, I can't, I can't, I can't. And I want to bring them across that bridge to I can, I can, I can. I can anything, I can anything. So my question for you in your work is you said you work mostly, you seem to attract at this point mostly people, women in their 50s and 60s. And I think probably at this point in time, it's those women who've gone, oh my God, I'm so freaking done.
Yes.
I've lived my whole freaking life this way and I'm done. Um, and so they're coming to you going, what's the answer? Help me now. And what is it that you do to help them make that, to cross that bridge?
Oh man. There's a lot of different uh, it's a lot of things all combined. So
Sure.
one of the things that I focus on is helping bring safety to the limitations, the things that our inner voice are. I like to look at it as the wounded inner child, that those things that come up in our mind that say like you can't do this. Like what's it gonna take to feel safe walking through these fears?
Ooh,
And
love it. Love it. Love it. Love it.
part of that is it's a handful of things. Part of it is getting true and clear on like what is your light? What is your truth? What is your core values? What are the things that really truly light you up? And once again, we can go back to the child version of ourselves. Like who were we before the world told us that it wasn't safe to be what we really truly are and what we want to be? So like part of it is learning how to honor that truth and also start to say no to what isn't aligned to your calling, to your daydream, to your authentic truth, to your light. So that's part of it. Part of it is also learning how to connect to your intuition and divine guidance so that you don't have to second guess things anymore because you really don't have to figure anything out. Like if you have a planted desire, if you have something that you're called to do, the solutions are there. It's all there, and it's about you learning how to hear the next right thing and trust yourself and the universe to have your back as you start to chip away on this path towards your best life.
I'm going to show you something that is from my spiritual mother, my Indian spiritual mother. See if I can.
Real faith is the faith in one's own self. Oh, yes, 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 yes.
When I first saw that, I was like, what? I mean, I was about 32, um, been in the depression and anxiety thing for years already. And I was like, what do you mean have faith in this flawed person? You've got to be kidding. But I really trust her absolute 100% connection with the divine, the embodiment of the divine. And I went, okay, I have to keep this. So I've had this for like over 30 years or something. And I finally understand it.
I'm
We are
sure,
it.
but it probably resonated. It probably struck a little chord then because it isn't all, that's a truth. It's a universal truth. I don't care who you are, where you're
Right.
from. You're, this is a universal truth. It resonates on a soul level. And then you get to like, as you live and experience life, it's going to have deeper and deeper meanings as you begin to embody that truth. Like, how beautiful is that?
Oh,
Kind of like my tattoo,
so
it's like this was an aspiration and it resonated then, but now it's like, oh wow, now I it really resonates. But I wanted to comment on your depression because
yeah.
I, I'm not a scientist, but I am very much a data collector. Like I
Yeah.
actually by nature am very much in the masculine energy. I'm very much
Oh,
like math
me too.
science. Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, go ahead. No,
So
it's just yeah, you're also in the feminine energy. So
now I
I'd say
am.
you're
Oh
you're
my,
very
I've like
balanced. Yeah.
exactly, exactly.
Yeah.
And but with regard to the depression and the fact that like I have collected a lot of data. I've made observations on my friends and on myself because this is how I learn, this is how I empower others is by the scientific approach. So um my theory on depression, anxiety, like any of these like very, very common prevalent conditions that most of us experience in our lifetime.
Yeah.
I believe that yes, there is the chemical elements and whatnot, and I'm not going to discredit like medication and that kind of thing,
Mhm.
but I think most of our discomfort is really the result of being disconnected from our truth. And like the more
Yes.
you're disconnected from your truth, which your truth is love, like your purpose here is to love and be loved and receive and just thrive and have fun. And we're just told all of this shit that like is not
Right.
that. And so the more we buy into that shit, the more shit results we're gonna get. And that to me
Right.
is depression. But depression isn't something to try to avoid. And I as a kid, I was an only child. Like I was raised by wolves more or less in some ways. And like I was a space alien in my family, like like my light was not valued and because I was not understood, and uh, uh, I just lost my train of thought. Oh my
Oh,
gosh.
it's okay. Let's see, where were we? Yeah, I know. I'm like just sitting here going, yeah, yeah, and I forgot the train. The choo-choo went around the bend. But you said you were not valued. You were not seen for who you were and respected for that.
Yes, so that like that the beliefs that were imprinted on me, like I was very severely depressed as a kid. Like and I didn't realize it at the time, but like in hindsight, yeah, I was like an only child till I was 8. Like I was raised in a family that didn't like know who I was or like value the same things I value. And so in hindsight, and I had no coping mechanisms. Like there was no like sense of
Right.
worthiness and self-love happening. So but like by the time I was in high school and starting college, like I hated myself so much. Like I spent a year of my life like where my happy place was thinking about being dead. And like that's like really heavy and
Yeah.
deep, but I mean that's how disconnected from like love and my truth that I was. And um, I just, so then I went the opposite and I was like, I'm going to avoid feeling any feelings. I'm going to bottle everything up. I'm going to take pride in being in my masculine and I'm going to be hustle culture and yeah, like I never cry. Like that's a badge of honor. And that is very unsustainable. I ended up having some medical issues come up and I had a miscarriage. I mean, it was
Oh,
bad. Like, and I know in hindsight, all of that, like our bodies will start to respond when we're away from our truth. Like, there's more than just the, oh, I'm unfulfilled. Oh, I'm depressed. Like, you can die from being disconnected from your truth, truly. And so, why not just start to figure out like what is my truth and start to take measures to honor that, you know? Um, Easier said than done sometimes, but when I do have friends who are starting to go in that dark place, like I'm not gonna say like override your grief. Like you need to
yeah.
feel your feelings. That's the alchemist. Like going through the pain is what helps us to be able to receive higher levels of pleasure and joy. And when we like avoid
Yes.
that pain, whether it's the pain and discomfort of spending 10 grand on a coach that's going to help us reach the next level of our business, or the discomfort of putting ourselves out there, or you know what I'm saying? Like
Yep.
the more that avoidance of pain drives us, the farther it separates us from our truth. So a lot of this work is really about like learning how to have that trust and faith in ourselves to walk through some of the scary stuff and then get comfortable in that discomfort, not in like a forceful, like hustle kind of way, but in like a place of love, just so we can give us more of that medicine of our own light. Um, does that track? Is that
That
a
tracks, that
okay?
tracks. I spent 30 years following the rules because
Yes.
I'm a Capricorn and Capricorns know how to follow the rules.
I'm like
And
right next to you.
are you a Sag or are you an
Yes.
Aquarius? You're
Yeah.
a Sag. And yeah, in Vedic astrology, do you know of Vedic astrology?
I
Do you
do
know what
not.
that is? It's from India and
I
it's
know of Ayurvedic.
Ayurveda.
Okay, there we
Same,
go.
same, yeah. And in Vedic astrology, I'm a Sagittarius. Whatever. I know I'm a Capricorn like crazy because I can persevere like an MFer and don't get in my way. And it doesn't necessarily help. It's why I'm so adamant about stop following the damn rules and start figuring out who you are. And I was talking to somebody yesterday. I had this image come to me of, how they have those pictures of like a cow, and they've got these dotted lines, like here's the loin and here's the this, and I saw us the same way. And like we have to color in ourselves and find our identity. Yeah, because we lose all the color when we come in and learn how to follow the rules and how to, like, what mom said, what dad said, what the ads say, what the guy says or the girl says that I was dating or whatever. And we have to go, hold it, fuck that. I need something else. I need to figure out what matters to me. And then all of those colors start to come in and we start to fill in and become our true selves.
Oh,
And it's just magic. Magic.
so I would like to tell you a story of how I came into that awareness. Like
Okay.
specifically, like we get to create our own reality and make our own rules, like period. Like this is something that I believe and I embody. And I'm just going to tell this story because it feels like the next right thing.
Good.
So the first year that I was self-employed, when I started my commercial real estate firm, that was in 2022. And um Oh man. I in the first few months I made enough money to live off of for a year. Like all my expenses were covered. And I know that that was like the
Yes.
universe responding to like me taking a leap of faith and leaving the toxic situation in hopes that something might be better. But simultaneously, I was getting hit with like a ton of unexpected expenses. And then
Ooh,
so it was like, oh, I'm getting super blessed and feeling divinely helped. Then, oh, WTF, like another 10 grand. Like, oh my God. So like that was like the like spiritual like cluster fuck that I was experiencing my first year of self-employment. And also my nervous system was so shot from like being in that hustle culture, being out of my truth, that like I did experience depression for the first time in my life, like as an adult, because I went to great lengths to not feel those feelings and I just trapped them in. And then it was like, okay, girl, like I've blessed you with a little bit of a cushion. Oops. And you're going to have to deal with some of the money shit that keeps coming up when you get unexpected expenses. And you're going to be in that freeze mode for about 6 months. And you're just going to have to get into acceptance that this is where you are and learn that it's okay to just chill out and heal and things are still going to work out. So that was year 1. Year 2 and 3, I lost over 20 loved ones, family members, and friends. They passed away. And it was literally like unbelievable. I'm like, is this real life? Like, what in the effing hell? Like, I'm finally not depressed anymore. I'm ready to go all in on my business. Like, I was ready to start working on Morgan Manifest at that time. Like, I was ready to go all in. Like, okay, my real estate business is good. Like, it's all sorted out. Like, this will cover my livelihood. Let's go all in on Morgan Manifest. Then somebody else dies. Or I get a call, my best friend's mom that's 2 hours away, only has a few weeks to live. Are you going to come and visit her, commute and drop everything to go spend time with her? Or are you going to keep working because you, like you're self-employed now, you know? And so like that kept happening over and over. Like I had to make like trust the universe. Like do I need to go be with my people or do I need to like stay here? And every time I'm like, no, I'm going to go where I feel I am called to be and I'm going to trust that the money's going to figure itself out. And this whole it got really really tough. I do have a, a set of grandparents who were my people, who did pour into me and believe in me and let me be the Morgan that I am. And thank God I had somebody in my family like that, you know, but they were like 3 hours, 3.5 hours away. So I didn't get to spend that much time with them. But anyway, like they both got sick at the same time. And no one else in my family could step up to be there. So I had to drop everything to drive 3 hours away, back and forth, taking them to doctors, making these huge decisions like, am I going to have the cops come and take away my grandma with dementia because she's a threat to herself and my grandpa? I mean, all of this stuff. It was such a grief overload, but also simultaneously, I've never felt more divinely held. Like I was not making any of these decisions. Like it was God acting through me because I just was in full surrender. Like these are the people I love most in the world. Like what I don't know. I don't know. Please God, just show me the next right thing. And it would happen over and over and over again. And every time I like tabled work, I would have like surprise money come through. It was crazy. So this grief portal was like cracked wide open. Like, not only was I grieving the people I'm losing, but I was also like starting to like have to face the fact that like my family are not my people and the few that are here like they're leaving or they're gone. So I'm like grieving a childhood I didn't have it simultaneously, but I'm just all this stuff that I had bottled up my whole life is just coming out and I'm letting it flow. And I'm still getting blessed. Like things are still working out in my life. Like it was crazy. Like I was still manifesting opportunities. I was still able to like show up when it was absolutely necessary. And that is from that experience, I learned a few things. And one of them is that everything is made up. Like literally, like death is not the end. Like I can feel every time that I am like, oh my gosh, like I feel disconnected from my grandparents, I will ask for a sign that they're with me and it like comes through in the most beautiful, like miraculous ways. Like and so like from that knowing also, and I can't really make the direct connection, but after that experience, I've also realized like literally everything is made up. Like we can create our own reality, period. It's just us learning how to get out of our own way. So, I mean, not being afraid of death and knowing that like the universe has my back and like I can co-create and anything is possible. I mean, imagine what kind of power that's opened up for me. You know what I mean? But the third thing that came from this, and this is something I'm still making peace with, is like I think from that really intense 2 years and between applying like what I teach about the reprogramming and the manifesty stuff and in congruence with just allowing myself to really just open up to divine guidance is I started having these prophetic dreams and very, very vivid. I know that there's different terminology for this stuff. I mean, I'm really still an outsider in the spiritual realm in some ways. Like I know there's clairvoyance and claircognizance and all this stuff. Like I call it prophetic dreams because I have these like very, very clear, vivid dreams that come true. And I started to discover this during this period of my life. And I realized like cracking open, like reprogramming the limiting beliefs that keep you from believing in yourself, from embodying that unconditional love for yourself. That's those same processes, those same techniques also can help open you up to like spiritual guidance, to spiritual gifts, to your intuition. And like, so that's just another layer of why, like, for me, the invitation that resonates with me is when women are called to entrepreneurship, when people are called like that is a very spiritual like clusterfuck. I don't know, like it brings out like all the shit when you try to go out on business in your own. And so to me, like on the outs are like the pain point that people experience that makes them say enough's enough is like, hey, I have this deep calling and they're either like ready to start to pursue this daydream and they're scared and they need a little bit of mindset work and a roadmap of what to do, or they're in their business and it's like out of alignment, whether it's the results or the clients they're taking or whatever, and they're like, enough is enough. And so that's like the way that I bring people in. But really and truly, like, this is about learning how to reconnect to the divine parts of yourself. This is about learning how to co-create with the universe, and it's learning about how to like discover that you are the creator of your own reality, but that entry point is like women entrepreneurs. We're not women in business. So I'm curious if that resonates with you as well. I know you probably have a lot of comments to make also.
Well, a couple of things. Becoming an entrepreneur and finding my footing has taken 20 years.
Yes.
It has taken me 20 years. And, I love it when somebody becomes a success and people go, you're an overnight success. Yeah, like if overnight is 20 years, because it is about developing who you are and it's about developing your consciousness so that you understand there's nothing real that stands
Yes.
between you and what you want to do, be, and have. There's nothing real.
Literally, it's made up. Like, what is between you and your dream? It's like everything is made up, like the bad stuff and the good stuff, right?
So how do we get that across? Now, the way I get that across to people who are like, wait a second, I don't get that. Like, how do I actually do that? Is I get them on their feet. I use my acting and my improv training to
Love
get
it.
people to get women on their feet and leaning into their strength and speaking their strong self and going, oh God, that feels weird, and going, and me going, let me give you some feedback because it looks good on you. And I'm not lying, I'm not saying that to every person like willy-nilly, but I can read energies, as I'm sure you can, and I can see when somebody is like this and when somebody's like this, when they're shining or when they're like, yeah, I'm just doing it because I'm supposed to. You can tell.
Yes.
So it's experiential for me. How do you get people to go, okay, right, it's all just man-made. And there's another aspect here, and it's feminine and it's spiritual and it's energetic and it's intuition and it's how do we get people there? Or how do we open the door for them to walk through?
I'm like, I'm all about baby steps.
Me
Um,
too. Me too.
I think
But love it.
in like it's taking baby steps to demonstrating to your nervous system that it's safe to do the scary stuff. And there's a lot of different pathways that you can go, but I think the foundation of all the manifesting techniques and the reprogramming techniques that I teach in my programs is um an alternative approach. Like the next right thing is generally the opposite of like whatever your brain tells you the logical thing is, and that's the feminine, right? Like the taking the alternative approach, it's not this like logic order approach to success, or and so like so much is counterintuitive in business, and I think like you start to learn like uh, a sales call isn't about you getting a new client. It's about learning and hearing and understanding and then determining the correct solution and if you're the one to deliver it. But we think like our logical
Completely.
brains think sales call like what's in it for me? Like no, like that's the first example that came to mind. Like most of business is counterintuitive. So we got to teach our nervous system that it's safe to do things differently. And I think once people start to take these baby steps, whether it's like setting boundaries or putting their prices higher or whatever it is, that's the alternative approach to what they've been doing all along. They
Hmm.
start to see those results and they start to feel a little bit more aligned and a little bit more lit up and all that. And then they
Yep.
start to realize, okay, they might do a few more alternative approaches and start to integrate that until it's not scary anymore. And then they start to notice synchronicities, or they might start to hear their divine guidance, their intuitive voice a little bit louder. And then they start to practice following those callings and leaning on those tools again that help them feel safe doing the uncertain. And then they get that feedback. Hey, the universe is co-creating. Like, oh, I did this big scary thing and it worked out. And they start to build that like self-trust and trust in God, the universe, whatever language you want to use is going to have your back. And it's just this slow unfolding of like building faith in yourself, building faith in your higher power. And yeah, that's kind of how it
Yeah.
works for me. But the thing is, like, these baby steps, like at first it might seem like, oh, it's gonna take forever to get a result or a breakthrough. But the way that it's always happened in my experience and with my clients is the quantum leaps happen, and it's usually when you like, oops, when it's least expected. But like all these things like compound over time, and generally like the big breakthrough, the big up level, it just kind of comes out of nowhere. And it's just like a matter of like preparing yourself to energetically align with that big breakthrough. That's what the work is, really.
I like what you were saying too about, surrender. Surrender is a loaded word for a lot of people, especially people who've been raised in a heavy religious background with all the shoulds and shouldn'ts and,
Ugh.
and
Yes,
all of
yes.
that. And surrender, I always, for a long time, I thought it meant something I had to do. And actually, it's something you don't do. And
Exactly.
it's so like try to explain, like try to give somebody a rule book around that. Good luck, because it's so individual. You just kind of go, oh, I got nothing. It's kind of like Abraham Hicks. Do you know Abraham Hicks?
Oh, yes.
Love
Yes.
Abraham Hicks. So, it's like, I got nothing. Great. That's when things have come to me that have
Oh,
like rescued me or shifted me or, amazing.
yes. Yes. And that once again goes back to that, like the logical mind, like that's not where the solutions come from. Like the more we surrendering is about getting in that receiving mode. Like that I mentioned when I submitted the application, like that's surrender. Surrender is about being in receiving, and that is feminine AF. You know what I mean? Like,
Oh, yes, it is.
um,
And it's so difficult for us. We're so used to doing. So we've got to just go, I got nothing. Give me something. I'll sit here. Now, do you just sit there, do you sit there and wait? Or do you keep moving on with what you're doing and you're just on the lookout? for it.
It's called co-creation. It's like collaboration, you know? It's like take aligned action when you feel called and feel safe in the surrender, feel safe simmering, feel safe. I mean, sometimes it takes years for a breakthrough to come through, but if you can feel safe not doing and just trusting, then when that breakthrough comes, it's like, oh my gosh, all of that was so worthwhile, you know? Um, I have a funny example. One of my clients came to visit me in Charleston, South Carolina, where I'm uh manifesting my retreat spot. And it's like a beautiful ocean-side city. It's got all this history and um she came down here and I took her to this marina where my friends work and there's like mega yachts there and she is just like this is oh my gosh, like how do I get to be here? Like I want to come here every other weekend when I don't have my daughter. Like what do I have to do? Like I'll start waxing boats. I'll get a job. Will they employ me every other weekend to come wax boats? And I'm like, honey, like you can just come like and hang out here. Like you don't have to work to like earn your keep to come and hang out in this beautiful place with me, you know? And like that it was such a beautiful little moment we had because we're working together in my magnetism and money masterclass and it was like perfect timing to give her a lesson in like the doing. Like you don't have to do to earn. Like you don't have to earn your you don't have to do to be worthy of having. And that is something that a lot is very, very
Wow.
common with us like women goal getters. Us generally if
Mhm.
we're called to entrepreneurship, we're not afraid to work hard. Like we're okay like hustling hard, but when we have that programming that like we have to work really, really hard to earn money, then it keeps us in this loop of like overworking and being underpaid and not in that receptive mode. So, you had mentioned something earlier in this call about how it's more energetics and not like necessarily like worthiness.
Mhm.
So, what do you mean by that?
We're all made of energy.
Uh-huh.
When I went looking for that answer, why does that horrible person keep succeeding in the world and they're all set financially and I'm struggling and I'm trying to do good things and all that. And what was missing was me. What was missing was my real energy, my delight, my joy, my fascination, my interest. And you just can't get where you're going if you're only using one wing of the bird, which is the masculine. And to be very clear, it's usually the toxic masculine because there is the divine masculine.
Yes.
Let's
Yes.
not avoid that beautiful truth. But in our culture, it's mostly the toxic masculine that is lauded, and the feminine is just it's not even noticed, or it's put down. We're shamed
Yes.
for it. You're too emotional. Well, I'll tell you what, in the work that I do, your emotions, and I think in the work you do as well, but your emotions are your superpower. They're
Oh.
actually absolutely your superpower. And you've just been taught to think of yourself as, I don't know, too girly, too feminine, too weak, too less than. Bull. You're not. It's all bullshit. You've got to understand that you are a 100%, 360-degree human, just like everybody else. And
Uh-huh.
here's what I love that Abraham says: you are made of the energy that creates worlds. Now,
Oh, yes. Yes. Yes.
OMG, like for many years now, many years, probably, I don't know, 15, I've been on this path that has kept deepening and deepening and deepening about making spirituality practical, taking it very practically, saying pragmatically, saying, okay, if that's true, how do I live that truth? I don't want just another good idea in my head that I can go, I'm not there yet. Maybe God will bless me. Bullshit. You are with the divine right now. You are made of divine stuff. And when we look at that literally, some people go, oh my God, this is fabulous. And other people go, get away from me. I want my God who's in charge of me. It's too complete. That's where we're branching right now. And there's still a
Exactly.
God. There's still a God. But we put God where God believes, which is in the mystery, and not into, oh, God's punishing me or rewarding me or
Oh.
teaching me a lesson. No, I came here to learn the lesson. I gave me the lesson. No, nobody's shooting on me or sitting up there going, I'm going to grade her with an F. It's not happening. And it's a very hard thing, but it all comes from the understanding that we are, what did you called us magnetic. And that is the absolute truth. And right now, most of us are manifesting by default, right?
Yes, yes,
Then we need to learn how to align ourselves with those higher vibrations, because that's really who we are. That's our real identity. So that's what I
100%.
mean. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I so appreciate you asking me that.
I'm so glad to have this time to connect.
Me too.
It will never get old having conversations with women who are sharing the good word, who know the all caps truth, you know? Um,
Yeah, I used to call it truth. I was looking from the time I was 30, I was looking for truth with a capital T, meaning truths that apply to everyone, whether or not they know it or believe it. And it's energy.
so
Sorry, it is.
s- what you said about trying to like make spirituality more approachable and like not
Practical.
so mysterious and like that is something that I was very called to at the beginning of Morgan Manifest, like back when I was still not like fully owning like business Morgan and uh Barbie Morgan and spiritual Morgan and it kind of held me up a little bit, to be honest, because I still was in that like masculine logic. Like, how can I logic my way into explaining these things that are like total miracles, you know? Like, and
Right.
think I think I had to kind of let go of that for a minute. Like, do I use the word God? Do I use the word universe? Like, how am I going to help bring these women home to the divine parts of themselves in an approachable way? And I had to get in the feminine and kind of let go of that for a little while because I was blocking the answers from kind of looking at it so much from this like let's break this down and make it explainable. And once I let go of that like very kind of like rigid approach, that's when the answers really came. Um, does that make sense?
I was going to say, let's make it clear to people watching that even though these consummation moments, right? These moments of like, I broke through and this thing happened and it was awesome. That's that's confirmation of something that's already happened. Um, and that it's not that you are a loser until you get there, because that's sort of a part of the consciousness around the masculine thing of like you're not worth anything until you have the money, the house, the thing. Um, and so for me, this goes along with that small steps thing. When I notice that I have broken through something that's made me feel hard or resistant, or like I'm pushing myself too hard, I'm not happy, when I feel myself even just loosen the chains, I
Hmm.
just won. I just had a breakthrough. Now, nobody externally to me can see it yet because they don't yet see what's coming as a result of that total shift,
Yes. Oh my gosh, totally resonates.
right?
And I
Yeah.
think, they say like it's not about the stuff, it's about who you become to re attract and receive this stuff. Like I agree with that, but like to add another level, like people admire me because I owned a over $1 million worth of investment properties by myself, a single woman in my like early 30s. And on the outside looking in, like I, I didn't think that that was like I didn't feel my identity attached to that. That was like just something cool that I like did by testing out my manifesting techniques, you know? Um, but the real manifestation wasn't the thriving commercial real estate firm and business brokerage or my $1 million real estate portfolio or whatever. Like it is that unconditional peace that I have because I know that whatever I want is mine and that I have God, the universe conspiring with me to make it happen. That is the real manifestation. And that means that, you know what? I could lose it all. I could lose every material item that I have. I've already lost a lot of shit and been okay.
Yeah,
I've been through some of the most inconceivable things, and guess what? I ended up on top. Like that is unconditional peace, and that is worth more than anything money can buy. And like that's what I want my clients to experience. That's what I want my loved ones, the women in my periphery. I mean, yes, I want it for men too, but you know what I mean.
I do. I do. Yes.
Um, yeah, like to me, that is the like pinnacle of success. Because when your success isn't defined by anything but like that you're good, like you're okay, you're well, like it's unconditional success. That's what I want for my people because then you're not afraid to make moves in your business. You're not afraid to like take the bigger risks. Like are you tracking? Does that resonate?
Uh-huh. That's such a mic drop. I want to end the talk now, except I can't because you just brought up a thought in me. That was perfect. That was, I mean, that is the whole enchilada. It's to be able to even see that takes some serious internal work.
Hmm.
It really, and it takes going through some serious shit. I mean, I've gone through homelessness in my 50s. I went through three nervous breakdowns. I mean, and you can name them if you're over 18, even if you're under 18, you've been through a load of crap.
Yes.
Um, and so you should know. I would like women to know that whatever it is you've gone through, it's not small and it is a testament to your strength. And when you unlatch it from just the wounding, and you start attaching it to the natural strength that you already own, you are 10,000 times stronger than what it took for you to get through that shit. Now you're going to have 10,000 kind of wings that are going to be working on your behalf to lift you.
Yes. So
Yeah,
that
and
it's like
it's
part
amazing.
owning the strength, like recognizing like, oh, I've been through some hard stuff. Like I am powerful. And it's like claiming
Yes.
that power again and realizing that not only are you powerful, but yeah, you've got the creator of all things has your back. Like what else is there? Like what else?
Yeah, however, and even for that, like I have a good friend who is an atheist, and we get into some really interesting conversations. And so he doesn't believe in anything divine at all. Like he figures when he dies, he's done. That's the end. And I'm like, yeah, it's not even a chance. So we very much differ in that, but I think he's on board with magic things happen and we don't know why. He just doesn't want to call it God. So even for atheists, especially for atheists, understanding that it's an energetic, it's physics, and where you can take it all out of the context of spiritual and religious and all the woo, whatever people still call woo woo, then you're good. You don't
Thank
have to
God for
believe in something.
But
Yeah,
thank God for quantum physics so that we can bring the like it's all the same stuff, you know, but that
it
like
is.
scientific like here's very factual evidence-based things that explain miracles and you that is a great gateway for some of those people who are very anti-God. Like and I think whatever is going to bring someone home to the all caps truths and bring them home to love and feeling that connection and that being divinely held, like sure, if quantum physics is the route, then so be it.
And so be it. Yeah,
And if
because it's about joy, isn't it? It's just about like, how can you be more peaceful? How can you be more joyous? How can you be more content? I don't think it's about happiness in the traditional sense.
nope, because happiness is a fleeting feeling. Like it's not we can't just always be happy. Like that's not like we are gonna feel other feelings. There's other feelings to be felt in the human experience and we I don't know what's happening with my mic, sorry.
That's okay.
But we like we have to just our feelings are like a symptom of what's going on under the surface. Like all of them have value. Like and they
Right.
all can like they have the power of transformation, especially the painful feelings, the feelings we don't want to feel. Like they're just telling us something. And if we allow them to pass and honor and respect them and don't override them and try to get rid of them, they're good too. Like there's just as much positive that comes from grieving losing a loved one as there is feeling happy because you just ate an ice cream cone, you know?
Let me see. Losing someone, eating an ice cream cone. Oh my God.
I guess that's where
Yes,
the unconditional peace comes back in. Like you start to see like everything is always working out for you, like even if it doesn't look like it is. And then you're able to hold that space for some of those feelings that we don't want to feel.
right. I will tell you this story, then I'll ask you another question, and I don't want to keep taking up too much of your time, but just the other day I was having to decide, okay, do I want to accept an offer of doing a part-time contract job for someone? At the same time as I'm reaching out, doing more speaking engagements, trying to find like, grants and connecting with awesome people through this podcast and just doing all the things that I get to do. And I'm like, do I really want to? And I was caught between the masculine mind and the feminine mind. And I finally centered it with where I think we are centered in our real truth, which is my emotion, my sensing and my emotion. I'm not talking about the fleeting, like I'm going to feel this way and then feel the next. It's like, what is the right next step that supports me in my strength? And I realized, you know what? I've been having a little bit of trouble just sitting home alone doing this stuff. I'm too social. And so I think I'll take the part-time job for now. And I will have some place to go for 4 hours a day. And the rest of the day, it's me. It's me and finding networking things in person and doing my thing, going out and combining with other, other women and doing work together. And so it's like we gotta let go of that. What's the right answer?
Oh,
Uh,
yes, yes. Because
what's the
there is
me answer? Yeah.
it's your truth. It's what's true to you. And I think our bodies, like if your
Yeah.
brain is getting in the way, if you can just shut it up and hear like your physical response to a decision, like oftentimes our bodies know. Like if you're starting to feel anxiety in advance of going and taking on a part-time job, that's your body telling you like that is not aligned, you know?
Don't do it.
Yes.
Yeah.
We're not taught that, you know?
Not at all. Oh, no, 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 no. It's always the external. It's just, it's so confusing if you start looking to the external and the rules, if you look to yourself, just like you said. So listen, you are offering us a free soul strategy session. Thank you so much. Um, and it
Yes.
looks like you're also offering the hot mess to high vibe guide for worn out women in business. Brilliant title.
Yes, so you can find the Hot Mess to High Vibe guide for worn out women in business. This is my little manifesting manual, and it has listed like the different like limiting beliefs or mindset blocks that you're running into, especially if you're a woman in business or an aspiring entrepreneur, like that, like the scarcity stuff. Like, am I gonna attract enough clients? Like, or nobody's gonna want to buy this product? Like, I have it broken down so that you can go in and check in with, okay, this is what I'm experiencing now. Here are some tools that I can apply to get through this, to work with this. So you can find that at themanifestingmentor.com. And then I'm also offering a free one-on-one soul strategy session. This is me honoring my purpose. This is me offering to you to help you get a little breakthrough, a little leg up, and see if we can at least work through one thing that's holding you back. And you can find that at morganmanifest.com/free. So once again, the Hot Mess to High Vibe guide you can find at themanifestingmentor.com and morganmanifest.com/free for a free soul strategy session.
Morgan, we have to do this again, child. This has been so awesome.
I am so down, Lori. Like this is what a great way to like close out the week, you know?
I completely agree. I'm thrilled, thrilled, thrilled because when I read all of your stuff, I went, oh my God, a soul sister.
There's so much more to talk about too.
Well, thank you. Thank you a million. And anybody who is watching this, my goodness, isn't this just badass? So, take her up on her stuff because where else are you going to get that kind of energy infused in all that she's offering? I'm just saying, I'm taking advantage of all of it. So that's all I have to say. And I will see you next time.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Bye, Morgan. The end.
Okay.